Right now I'm going to demonstrate how to crack WPA or WPA2 encryption on a wireless access point. As you can see here, this is the admin page for the access point that I'm using, and I'm running WPA2 personal on it. We'll be attempting to crack with Backtrack 5, and let me just review how this is set up. I have a laptop loaded with Backtrack 5 hardwired to the access point so that I can connect to it over SSH, and I have a Windows 7 machine wirelessly connected to it. We can see the wireless clients that are attached to the access point, and here's the MAC address of the Windows 7 machine. I'll go ahead and prove that by clicking on the wireless network connection properties, and sure enough the MAC address matches. So we'll get rid of that and go ahead and get started. Now it is very important that at least one client be connected to the access point that you're trying to crack into, because this actually de-authenticates and then listens as the client is re-authenticating to the access point. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll start with a program called airmon ng, and what this does is looks at the wireless adapters on the system. It has found one, so we'll use the same program to start a monitoring mode by creating a virtual interface for us to use. So we started monitoring mode on WLAN 0, and I'm just going to run airmon again, and sure enough there's our mon 0 interface. We'll be using that for the rest of the exercise. So now we can move over to another program called aerodump ng, and we'll run that on our interface. And what that's going to allow us to do is see all the wireless access points that are around us. The one that we're interested in cracking is the DDWRT, and we see that it's on channel 6, and it shows us its BSSID, which is the MAC address on the wireless access point. So I'm going to open up another terminal. And we'll use aerodump again to create an output file that is sniffing the packets that are coming out of the wireless access point. So this is going to dump a bunch of data into a file, and then we will use the data in that file to try to crack the password. So aerodump ng-w stands for the prefix that we're going to put on the file. It could be anything. I'll just go ahead and call it WPA. -c is for channel. We see that our DDWRT is on channel 6 once again. The BSSID, which is here, I've already copied it to the clipboard, and mon 0 is our interface. So let's go ahead and start sniffing some traffic. And so we see data is slowly creeping up. So now we will use a program called Air Replay to attempt to kick a client off by sending what's called a disassociate packet, and we're just going to blast everyone and anyone that could be connected to it. Right now there's only one, but let's go ahead and put the command in. It's air replay ng. -0 indicates the type of attack, which is the disassociate attack. We're going to try it 5 times, and -a is the BSSID in this command, and we're going to use our interface. So let's go ahead and run it. And we can test to make sure that this actually worked by looking at the file it's generating. So this is second to last step. Aircrack ng, and that file was called WPA something. It appended a 01, and it saves it as a .cap file. So we'll go ahead and look, and sure enough, there was one handshake that it detected. So it kicked the client off, and as the client was re-authenticating to the access point, it captured the handshake traffic, and that's what it's going to use. It actually exchanged the key during that point, and so now it's going to try and crack that key. So now here's the final step. This does require, this is a dictionary attack, so it requires a dictionary file. So I've downloaded a file. It's about 50 megabytes. And just for the heck of it, let's go ahead and look at it. It's that all.list file. Oops. Wrong command. Okay. So we can see here are a bunch of common passwords that it has right there at the top, and then it just starts in on an alphabetical list eventually. Okay, there's the A's. And it just keeps going. So it'll go through this whole list, and it must have the word in your dictionary in order for it to guess. Otherwise, you're stuck doing a brute force attack, which can take an extremely long time unless you have a very, very powerful computer, and it's not really worth it for most people to invest in that kind of time or money for that kind of power. So the moral of this story is make strong passwords. So let's go ahead and run aircrack. Once again, -W specifies the file that the dictionary file that we want to use. So it's that all.list file that we just looked at, and then we're going to run it against the same one, WPA.cap. And let's go ahead and let it go. And since the word was in the dictionary, there's our password that it found. And so I can go on the wireless access point, and sure enough, that was the password. It got it right.